Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Hello. We are culture enthusiasts ready to give you a lot of insight about culture today.
I'm Fuad Al Faruqi, and my friend Jihan will accompany you until the show is over. Nowadays, ethnicity and culture is hot topic that you can see a lot of Asian who show up in Hollywood and as an international musician. Because of that, our main topic today is culture, ethnicity, and nationality.
But Ali, I think it's better for us if we have another references. So let's call Bob and Fatir as our one of guests today.
Hello Fatir, hello Bob. How are you doing guys?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good, thank you for having us.
Hello, Fatir and Bob. Welcome to our sharing sessions. But first, I really want to know you guys' ethnicity before we start.
Actually, I'm born and raised in Batam, but my father is Indonesian and my mother is South Chinese, or you usually call it Cindo.
So every year you will get the bonus.
Yes.
And
Yeah, something like that.
And I think it's a lot of privilege to have two different culture. And if you think about it, in the city have connections with culture, like Thai and Apao. Why is that? Can you explain a little bit?
In nationality, sometimes there are merging of cultures, like what happened to Bob. In this case, Bob experienced a merger between a religion and another. And usually this is related to heredity or habit that is inherited from generation to generation. However, things are different with culture, where culture is not passed down from generation to generation, and all of these things are very interconnected because they have the same lineage, custom, religion, language, and so on.
so all of it have connection. Talking about ethnicity and nationality, we know that a lot of Asian make career in Western, and even their nationality is American. Their ethnic is Asian. What do you guys think about it?
Talking about that, I think nowadays that ethnicity doesn't really matter. Because I think the Western people this day is more open-minded. And ethnicity doesn't limit on nationality. Culture is sometimes, but certainly not always. As example, a Japanese person that born in Japan and raised by a Japanese household will be Japanese by ethnicity, nationality, and culture. But for example, a Japanese person that raised in Australia, raised in Australia, brought up by a English-speaking household, he will be a Japanese by ethnicity, but in culture and nationality, he will be an Australian. In some cultures, ethnicity is easy to recognize, but culture and nationality does not like that.
I see. But I agree about it because I agree that Western is more open-minded and freer in their lifestyle. But I feel like Asian in the world is starting to dominate the industry, like K-pop and food, the actor and also the musicians. And others, I feel like others may not recognize ethnic, nationality, or cultural differences. Many Western cannot tell whether a person is Thai, Chinese, or Japanese, and I think even nationality is even more difficult to tell, like Malay, Chinese, Indian, and people of our ethnic background and people of mixed ethnicity can be equally like also like Malay.
Yes, I'm on the same page. Culture is not fixed. Dress, food, clothing, attitude, inheritance, sex, marriage, health, education, and many other trends. In our Western community, it's now extraordinary that countries in the position was normally only two male member of a family, and a married woman had to income of her own. About 50 years ago, it was exceptional for a man and woman to live together outside marriage in Western community. Yeah.
You can say that within a culture, variation occurs subcultures, a group similar in age, education, wealth, interest, and many other factors may exist within a large culture.
I think this is a good discussions, but I think it's done with the heavy topics with some little sparks and fun. But I'm actually curious about you guys' favorite artists from Asians or ethnic that maybe give you some inspirations.
Maybe Ma Dong-seok is the best.
Oh, I know, it's a Korean actor.
Yeah. Maybe the reason why I like him, not only does he dashing and cool on screen, but he also exerts authority in real life. And especially given that he was a former UFC champion coach.
Oh, how about
I really like Jackie Chan because he is the one actor that I always watch since my childhood. And what makes it different, he always does danger scenes without stuntman. And he is very good at using various kind of martial arts, especially martial arts from Chinese culture, such as Kung Fu or maybe Wing Chun. I don't know.
it's legend?
Yeah.
For me, because before we talk about ethnic, nationality, and culture, I know a TikTok famous named Macha Samurai. He's a Japanese by ethnicity, but he live in a Western country. So he he make videos about like how the real Asian way to do something, and sometimes he makes video that tell the people how the wrong perceptions about Asian culture. So like not Asian, she is Japanese, so he ever made one video that explained that not all Japanese people eat sushi by chopsticks. Sometimes they eat sushi by bare hand. That is a wrong perception about culture. And because of his ethnicity as Japanese, some of his fans usually ask him about something like how the real Asian way and something like that. But because he live in Western country, so he ethnic is Asian, but he sometimes talk or do something is Western way.
And we hope maybe someday we can be like them,
Mhm.
can give inspiration to
Yep. So we got a lot of insight today. Before we're going to continue for more amazing guest star. So we need intermezzo to make it more exciting. So see you later.
Nonton video SpongeBob nu kamari teh.
Nonton Persib 2-0 teh gini.
Nah ini mah nu kahuruan teh.
Oh, kamari orangnya mancing di Pamedangan Jagat Raya. Aing teh. Enggak gitu we.
Kura-kura ieu mah nu kura-kura.
Lain urang kamari gini anu pasar kahuruan.
Oh, kempes cenah mah eta teh.
Teu. Gitu we aya mah.
Ini apa, Bro?
Ah, gak akan ngerti kamu mah.
Oke, baik anak-anak, ceritanya hari ini saya menjadi dosen dan untuk itu mari kita pulang. Sebelum itu, ibu masih memberikan jika ada yang ingin bertanya, silakan bertanya.
saya tutorial duduk di WC jongkok. Main yang tanya.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Thank you for the group 7 for the video, and it was fun.
Okay, so finally the moment that we've been waiting for. Let's welcome Pak Deddy Sulaiman.
How are you doing? I am wonderful today.
Oh. So we finally have Pak Deddy here. Yes. So he is known as lecturer and also researcher, who also a traveler. And so we are doing a sharing sessions.
Okay.
The main topic is culture, ethnicity, and also nationality. So what do you think about all of it? And how can those three things is relate to each other? And maybe you have your own perspective on it.
All right. Talking about ethnicity and nationality, we are talking about natural. Okay, natural, because we are human living here in the world. We cannot create our culture, but we generate. Okay, you are learning from your parents, your community, your ancestors. So here we are. So let's, when we have in Indonesian context, for example, you were born in Cianjur, Sukabumi, or in Madura, or in Padang. So this is natural, right? Natural means you learned how could you have your Sundanese or Javanese or Madurese language. This is natural. And then when you come to the national or nationality, it will come to be broader ones. Broader means that we now realize that besides Sundanese, Javanese, Madurese, Padanese, you are living in the same culture, that is Indonesian. So ethnicity exists in broad way, in a nationality is broader than ethnicity is smaller than nationality. But this is natural, and in Asian probably ethnicity will be varied. this is different from Australia, America, because of the ethnicity is limited. But in Asia, in Indonesia, we have many variety of ethnicities.
And I know that you often go out of the country. Can you explain where are you going and did you see variation of ethnicity in the country?
Well, based on my experience, ethnicity would be very genuine people. You know, like when you know America, you know the modern one. But you know the original people of America would be the redskin. Probably you have known from English literature, American literature, that the original one is redskin. This is called by Indian is redskin. That is the original, that is the ethnicity. When people know America now in modern era, so you will think that this is America, but the ethnicity would be the redskin. And then another example would be Australia. You know, Australia using English, and you know, it is also modern. But you know, the original people in Australia called by Aborigine. Yeah, Aborigine. So this is, if we can say that the ethnic of Australia would be Aborigine.
But all the ethnicity like Aborigines and also
Indian.
It's gone, right? You never gonna see it again.
Actually, they are still living there, but this is very limited.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
super rare.
Yeah. It means that based on culture we are studying about, so that is the original one of America, of Australia, but it becomes minority of people. Minority.
And what ethnicity did you encounter the most during the travel?
Yeah, during my traveling, because I learn English here and I go abroad by using English. So yeah, outside there, probably we just know English speaking country. So the culture based on a language would be similar. When I went to America, so I speak English, it means that the culture would be the same English. All of the majority of America would speak English and they have similar culture. Different from Indonesia. When you come to Sunda, you know Sundanese people, Sundanese language. When you have to come to Java Island, you will know Javanese language, so Javanese culture, Padang's language, Padang culture. So when I go abroad, I think the culture will be based on language. So it would be similar. So Indonesia has a rich culture, rich of language. That's why I think this is different. But I recommend you go to other countries so you will know. You know how to speak English, how to listen English, how to read. And I think it's better for you to have the experience in other countries that you will feel, yeah, Indonesia has rich cultures and languages.
So you've been to US?
Yes.
And did you see a lot of, for the ethnicity that there, did you see Asians or Hispanic or Latino or is most of this one?
Yeah, that's right. So since I live around campus, as you know, around campus, the people or the students will be from around the world. So I met Chinese, Russian, and then more from Thailand. Yeah, means from England, from Ireland, yeah, because this is around campus, so I know other countries, probably other cultures there.
So do you have any cases for people where the ethnic is not matched with the country they're living? So their nationality is probably African with the Asians, and is that easy to change your nationality? And what kind of process that we're going through if we want to change our nationality?
Well, yeah, that's good questions. Let's see from our nearest analogy. People in Indonesia would be upset when asking the nationality. I mean, are you Sudanese or Japanese based on first birth or language or living? Probably when you guess that he's Japanese, are you Japanese? He was born in Cianjur and then probably grew up in Japanese, or she or he can use other language, so it will be upset to identify whether he has the ethnicity based on birth, language he speaks, or living. If you think that he or she is from Kalimantan, so you will guess that he is Dayak, for example. But he can speak Japanese because of the parents, for example. So yeah, when you ask me from Asian, this is American, but he or she is from Asian, he is American, but he's from Europe. I think this is not easy to adapt, whether he or she is Asian or American or African, because from what perspective we will identify the identity. Is it based on language, living, or what else? Birth. Yeah. If you can ask your classmates, probably it will be interesting for you. Who are you? From birth or language or living? Sometimes you were born in Cianjur and then you grew up in Banyumas. So when you have to go to elementary school, are you Japanese? Yeah, he or she can speak Japanese fluently, but he was born in other place, in other cultures. So this is not easy. We have to adapt based on language, or probably our simple one would be from the identity cards, whether he is Australian, New Zealand, Indonesian. If this is accepted in Indonesia, there will be cards Indonesia, so it would be Indonesian. Or we have two nationalities, right? You know our culture. Nationality means he is from Indonesia and then she is from Australia, get married, and they can live in Indonesia or Australia, but they have two nationalities, two cards it means. Yeah. So they have to adapt. Whether it comes to Indonesia, we have to use rupiah, to use our Indonesian cuisine. But when they are in Australia, they have to adapt that they are Australian. Two nationalities, two cultures, two languages.
It's so interesting about talking about Indonesian culture, but there's more interesting rather than a culture shock. So, because we never been abroad before, all of us, so can you share about some experience about culture shock when you travel?
Yeah, I think culture shock is a natural experience experienced by a person who has a subconscious mind of one culture, and that he or she has to go to other countries that has a different language, different culture, different cuisine, I think he or she will have the culture shock. So I think we cannot avoid to have the culture shock, but we can minimize. Okay, we can minimize by reading other countries' culture, by discussing, and then by having a friends outside. I think this is very easy for you to have a friend from other countries, from I don't know, social media like Facebook or Twitter, and then you can make not relationship, communication with him, with her, and you will know a bit about the culture that can minimize our culture.
But it's an interesting story. And we know that the racism and discrimination are something that we cannot avoid. Have you experienced just the treatment? And if so, maybe you can give us some tips how to handle those things if we going through.
Yeah, that's right. When I went to America for my first time in 2009, this is my own experience because my name is Dedi Sulaiman, and it consists of Islamic name Sulaiman. So I have to be interviewing for some hours about my education, about my purpose to America, and then what organization I have. So I don't know whether this is for us probably as East culture, this is racism, but for them, I know I have to respect that they have to protect their nation rights from anything that will harm their nation. So that's because I know cultures, I can speak English, so when I was interviewed by interviewer, I think it ran well. But this is, you think about the different, I think racism or what other term, it will be based on the perspective. Who will integrate or interview a person from what countries. I think it will be the same like Indonesian when Australian or American come to or Chinese come to Indonesia. We will protect our nation by interviewing what is the purpose of the people, the citizen come to Indonesia. If this is different attitude or different way, I think the law will rules how people come to our country. I think because we know cultures, we are a student in university level, we have to understand more which perspective we see the phenomenon.
Oh my God, that's really interesting story, and I hope all of us can go to US like Maredi because that's cool. We always wanted it, and so today is a really interesting day. And of course, we get a lot of insight, knowledge, and also good information that obviously super useful for life.
And alright, thank you for our guest lesson today, especially Pak Dedi Sulaiman.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
And I think it's enough for today's sharing sessions. We apologize if we're still lacking, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.